Nigerian government to begin Ogoni cleanup in August. National Primary Health Care Development Agency targets 84% immunization by 2028. United Nations warned Cameroon on Nigerian refugees. And on the foreign scene, Commonwealth heads accept UK's prince as successor. These and more in a moment. I am Anthony Momodu with the AM News on Television, Nigerian. The coordinator of the Hydrocarbon Pollution and Remediation Project, Melvin Dickey, says the federal government is to begin the remediation phase of the oil-imparted sites in Ogoni land in August. Speaking at the outreach program in Nonwatai River State on Friday, Dickey stated that government had begun placing advertisements in national and international newspapers inviting contractors to apply for remediation of 26 hydrocarbon-imparted sites in Ogoni land. According to him, the invitation is open to both local and foreign companies with requisite expertise and experience in the business, adding that advertisement had also been made for the reconstruction of existing water facilities and construction of gas facilities in affected communities. In order to achieve its target of 84% immunization coverage by 2028, the National Primary Health Care Development Agency says Nigeria needs about $2.7 billion, approximately 824 billion naira, to buy vaccines over the next 10 years. The executive director of the agency, Faisal Shuaib, said the investment will also allow the agency attend to the over 4.3 million unimmunized children in the country. Speaking at a breakfast meeting with donors and partners on immunization financing in Abuja on Friday, Shuaib said the country's immunization coverage currently stands at 33%. The meeting was part of activities marking the 2018 Africa Vaccination Week, which is celebrated every last week of April. Still ahead, United Nations warned Cameroon on Nigerian refugees, plus more on entertainment, sports, and on the foreign scene. Stay tuned.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria.
Thanks for being there. The Office of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees has urged the Cameroonian Authority not to send Nigerian refugees back to the Boko Haram violence they fled from. This development followed the report that, contrary to the need to accord international protection to those in need, the Cameroonian government has continued to turn back Nigerian refugees and asylum seekers who fled Boko Haram violence in Nigeria. Since the beginning of 2018, 385 Nigerian refugees and asylum seekers had been forcefully returned from Cameroon, the majority of them in March, including 160 on April 10 and a further 118 a week later, while on the overall, the United Nations agency has registered some 87,600 Nigerian refugees in the country. The Commission also noted that it recognized legitimate national security concerns of states affected by Boko Haram crisis and stressed that it is important that the refugee protection and national security are not seen as being incompatible. To some entertainment stories. The Executive Director of the National Film and Video Censors Board, Adedayo Thomas, has rated highly the quality of movies produced in Nigeria as verified and classified by the board in the outgone year 2017. Taking a look at the progress so far made by the Nollywood producers over time, Thomas noted that many of the producers have now given quality of production a top priority and had enhanced marketing and distribution. Speaking further, he noted that the board adjudged the content quality of indigenous language movies better than those in English language and frowned at the fact that indigenous movies received by the board had continued to decline, with Yoruba and Hausa movies becoming major sub-markets by sheer volume of products, size of audience, and pedigree. He therefore urged content producers to produce more movies under the general viewing classification for viewing interest of children.
Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning environment. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere. Extracurricular activities. An all-embracing curriculum for total development of the child. Comprehensive education for leadership. Join us today from crèche to secondary levels. Living Treasures Academy, committed to excellence.
On the foreign scene, leaders on Friday approved UK's Prince Charles as the successor to Queen Elizabeth as head of the Commonwealth at the meeting of the group's heads of government in Windsor. There had been calls for the role to be rotated around the 53 member states, most of which are former British territories, but in recent days, the Queen and the British government have backed Charles to take on the role. The Commonwealth evolved out of the British Empire in the mid-20th century, and the Queen has been its head since her reign began in 1952. Charles had long been expected to take on the role, even though it is not strictly hereditary. In sports, two Nigerian football stars Kanu Nwankwo and Alex Iwobi have joined the football world to pay glowing tributes to Arsene Wenger as he prepares to quit his role as Arsenal manager. Kanu and Iwobi represent different generations under Wenger, but the two players were unanimous on the enormous influence Wenger had on their career, with the former predicting that it would be difficult to get a perfect replacement for the 68-year-old. Some of the remarkable Wenger achievements will include leading Arsenal to an unbeaten run all through the 2003-2004 season, in which they earned the tag the Invincibles. To end the news, a recap of the headlines. Nigerian government to begin Ogoni cleanup in August. National Primary Health Care Development Agency targets 84% immunization by 2028. United Nations warn Cameroon on Nigerian refugees. And on the foreign scene, Commonwealth heads accept UK's prince as successor. That's the news at this time on Television Nigerian. And do remember, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, while faithfulness remains the best relationship. Thanks for watching. I am Anthony Momodu.